Okay, we're going to do our update on precious metals here. We'll start with gold as we often do. We've been talking about this in the last videos. As usual, take a look at the links in the description. I have a link to the previous video on precious metals and also cycles analysis. Just tons of great background. As we talked about in the previous videos, this has the look of a bear flag and it is now spilled over. What day is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, and it's September 15th. So we're opening, it's day 11 right now. Is that right? So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So we're opening on day 11. Now, what the bulls that just can't let go will tell you, well, maybe this is your daily cycle low, right? We're actually getting a daily cycle low on day 40. Maybe. Who knows? But this clearly broke above, like, this was clearly a rally, and silver also was rallying, and we'll get to that. This just didn't look good, and our suspicions have been confirmed. We got this downside move. Looks like we're working on another bounce, which is an opportunity to short, maybe at the top of this candle. And what is that? That's 1698. Wow, we're already at 1665. Jeez. And this is spot gold. I'll just flip over to the futures really quickly to see what that level is. That's 1674. So that's just important to note. I am talking about spot, the CFDs. Okay, so that's your daily chart. Weekly. Ugh. So again, the original count we were working with was that we had a weekly cycle low on the week of July 18th. That was week 31, which seems very logical because that's a really long weekly cycle. We then had a nice little rally that looked promising, but it topped out on week 3 and then collapsed. So this is week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, now week 8. And so if we're only on week 8 and we've already started the weekly cycle decline, it started on week 3, we could be in for quite a bit of downside in terms of time and maybe also in terms of price. I'll remind that the gold micro futures are an option. I'm certainly going to use that. Again, looks like we're working on a bounce, so I'll look for the next opportunity where it looks like we're printing a lower high. So that's your weekly chart. Again, could easily be another 10 weeks of downside because this was 18 weeks, 22 weeks, 24. So they can be a little bit all over the place, but you got to assume it's going to be at least a 20-week cycle, and we're on week 8, right? So I mean, yikes. So that's the weekly chart, and if you look at the monthly, just making new lows. I talked about this. I keep talking about this in all my videos. Where are we in the 8-year cycle? We're in the declining phase. The top was on month 56, which was August 2020, right? We have been in the declining phase of the 8-year cycle since August 2020, well over 2 years. And now we're starting the acceleration into the low is what it would seem, because we've now broken these lows. And again, I see people on Twitter like, oh, all these stops just got short. I got stopped. All these shorts just got stopped, or all these folks just got stopped out. And this is going to be a false breakdown. Again, I am totally open to that possibility. But why would you assume that's what's going to happen unless you just have bias and maybe a big bag, right? Let's watch and see what happens. This is either going to be a great shorting opportunity on the next lower high, or it's going to be a great opportunity for a bullish reversal if that's what we get. So the point is, you can make money either way. You just have to leave your bias at the door and follow the chart. So again, it's month 81, and that's the good news. If it's a 7-year cycle, it's 84 months. If it's an 8-year cycle, it's 96 months. We'll probably get something somewhere in between. So not out of the woods yet, although there's no reason why we couldn't get our low on month 81. So the point is, we're probably closer to the end than we are the middle. I mean, again, we've been in this declining phase since August 2020. The top was on month 56. We're now on month 80. And again, the downside is starting to accelerate. Let's see, what is the percentage down since this? Let's count it from this swing high. That was your sort of war-fueled rally. Wow, down a full 20% from that high. And if we switch over to silver, hard to imagine it doesn't get pulled down by gold. We still don't actually have a swing high on the board, and I'll zoom in on the daily candle, because this was a huge candle on September 12th, and we need to get below 1880, which is a level I keep citing. And again, this is silver CFDs. I keep citing this level on Twitter. As long as we can stay above 1880, then we're okay. So it's either the case that gold is going to drag it down or silver is going to drag gold up. I mean, we'll have to see, but the levels are incredibly clear. We had this big up candle, and now we have literally been consolidating for 3 days. This is the start of the Friday candle, which has already made a new low, but that could turn out to be a false breakdown on this time frame. And it did kind of kiss the 10-period moving average, the 10-day moving average, which is also sort of moving up. So silver looks okay. Again, as long as we have to stay within this range and ideally start to see some upside. So this is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our high is on day 7 so far, and this is day 11. So that's how the table is set for silver. Again, given the weakness we're seeing in gold moving into an 8-year cycle low, hard to imagine silver is going to do much better. And if you look at this weekly chart, oh God, I mean, look at this. Oh God, avert your eyes. I mean, look at that. That is a textbook reversal candle. I mean, obviously, the only way it could be worse if it were red. But we had one more day of trading. Let's see how it kind of plays out. And the monthly candle, which was looking promising, is again starting to build up that upper wick, which is really the same situation for GDX. Oh God, GDX is looking even worse. So that's the monthly chart for GDX. And then if gold is rolling into a 8-year cycle low, what do we think is going to happen to the miners, right? So again, another potential great short opportunity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So topped out on day 6, 7, 8, 9. And tomorrow we'll open day 10. So it's not super late in the daily cycle. We still have this low to break potentially, which is below 22.97. So just below 23. And if we look at the weekly candle, almost made that bearish weekly outside candle. Probably get there tomorrow. That's a move below 23.28 in this case. Yeah, so that's the picture for GDX. And right, the monthly. So this is another important concept. The monthly chart, the monthly candle opened at 23.35. What that means is if we go below that price, the candle goes red. We're now above that price, so the candle is still green. I suspect we're not going to stay there for very long, so that's a good level to kind of think about. We're almost certainly going to find ourselves below that. It'll be a question of, do we stay there? Do we close below it? But that's our fate, right? That this becomes another red candle is what we would expect at this point. And finally, we'll look at Dixie, which is absolutely correlated to all of this pretty massively. Talked about this in the last video. This looks like a major low we just printed. I mean, what a massive bullish outside candle on CPI day. In those last 3 days, we just kind of consolidated though. So this is kind of similar to silver in a way, which is very curious. If we look at the weekly chart, the expectation here is that we would potentially make a weekly outside candle, bullish in this case. That would be a move to 110.786. We only have one trading day left, so unclear if that's going to play out. But most importantly, month 20 of the 3-year cycle, 36 months, we probably have quite a bit more upside in terms of time before we get the top. But as I keep reminding, at some point, we're going to get that 3-year cycle high. It'll be represented by a swing high on the monthly chart. And that will begin a multi-month decline. And it depends on what month it happens, right? If we get the top on month 25, well, that's great, because that's another 9 months or 11 months of downside. Doesn't mean the low has to come exactly on month 36. It's a ballpark. But the point is, if we're only on month 20, that means we have another 16 months left in the cycle. Doesn't mean we're going to rally for 16 months, but there's still quite a bit of time. So this will be an important one to watch. I keep saying this. Look how far stretched we are above the 10-period moving average. At some point, we're either going to consolidate on a monthly level to let this catch up, or we're going to have a plunge. And that's what we're going to want to watch for, because that's going to be our cue for other assets starting to kind of wake up.